This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Welcome to News 25 here on KPVM TV and Ace Country Radio. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. Today is Tuesday, July 27th. Well, crews have been working nonstop to clean up the mess left behind from two storms that passed through the Pahrump Valley. Fire Chief Scott Lewis says it will likely take some time to clear the debris and make repairs.
The very first storm, which occurred very late Sunday evening, was more of a wind event with rain and some localized flooding. But that wind is really what was the key to all the damage. The problem is that once, because it occurred in the overnight hours, it's very difficult to complete a true and accurate damage assessment. In the morning hours, when we really started digging deep and getting into the cleanup, by noon, just several hours later, we were into a second severe thunderstorm, which had a very large geographical footprint, heavy rains. It was all the bad ingredients for us because people had sustained roof damage. Now we're exposed to the heavy rains, the vehicles, the whole 9 yards, but it brought another dimension, which was the flash flooding. And not just localized flash flooding, almost all the washes coming off the mountains were filled with water and bringing the debris from both the mountains and then adding to the debris fields that were already on our existing road surfaces. Life safety was the paramount piece, so as the events were unfolding, we started having the motorists stranded, the vehicles becoming stalled, becoming disabled because of the materials that were underneath the road they simply couldn't see. So as we went in and progressed into that incident, the rains continued. We were getting about 1 inch to 2 inches of rain within the hour, hour and a half, 2 hours of the event. And as quickly as it stopped, we were still dealing with all those waters, both moving, static, or remaining, just surface. But the life safety continued because, as you mentioned, it went from east to west. So it continued through the evening hours for the rescues from vehicles. We did about 25 to 35, somewhere in that ballpark, between the Sheriff's Office, Pahrump Valley Fire Rescue, and Emergency Management, people from their stalled cars and waste deep waters. In several cases, when we were making our way out to those people, the roadway was disintegrating underneath, or it was undermined by the water. So we had to be extremely careful. But I'm glad to tell you that there was no injuries reported for any of those rescues. There was no loss or damage to any of the apparatus, and clearly there was no injuries to our staff. Two very serious events occurring almost simultaneously within hours, all within 24-hour period, severely taxed all the resources, not only from the emergency response standpoint, but for the infrastructure, the county government, getting public works out there, the sheriff's obviously going out there and involving everything. So buildings and grounds are trying to determine exactly what the extent of damage is to all the parks and the county buildings and the fire stations, which all sustain some level or some degree of damage. Parks are obviously impacted, the skateboard park, but the pool is also impacted. The pool is now closed. Just everything is going to take time and a great deal of resources. And as you know, as we talked about while we were on scene together in the wee hours, is that resources are a little tired. But, this is what we do, and we're going to be there for the community. We're going to do what's best for them.
Thanks to the Public Works and, of course, Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue and 9 County Sheriff's Office deputies and auxiliary units and Nevada Highway Patrol. Well, the National Weather Service is predicting more rain in our region this upcoming weekend. The rain saved what officials think is approximately 65 million gallons of water from residents and businesses cutting back on their landscape watering. Well, the FAA has been called in to investigate the cause of a plane crash near Lake Tahoe on Monday. Everyone on board the twin-engine aircraft has been declared deceased, although officials have not stated how many individuals were actually on board. The crash caused a wildfire that was quickly contained near Truckee, California. The Bombardier CL-600 crashed at approximately 1:15 in the afternoon while the pilot was attempting to land at the nearby Truckee Tahoe Airport. The jet can hold as many as 14 passengers and 2 crew. Nobody on the ground was hurt as the plane hit a wooded area near the Ponderosa Golf Course. News 25 will return right after this break.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back. Defendant Danny Hicks will spend a bit more time behind bars for his part in a case involving lewdness and child pornography. He was sentenced Monday in 5th Judicial District Court here in Pahrump. A lack of evidence led to a significant reduction in charges. Judge Robert Lane says Hicks should be spending a lot more time in prison.
Danny Hicks was arrested in early February 2020 after authorities discovered a situation involving the sexual abuse of minors at a Pahrump home. He's been in jail ever since. 3 other people were also arrested and charged in connection with the case: Eric Garcia, Mickey Cagle, and Vicky Bockley. Garcia pled guilty to the most serious charges and was sentenced in January to 2 life terms. Mickey Cagle pled guilty to 1 count of possession of child pornography. He'll be sentenced September 13th. Vicky Bockley's case is still moving through the courts. As for Danny Hicks, he was originally facing a long list of serious charges, but District Attorney Chris Arabia says ultimately prosecutors were not able to collect enough evidence to move forward on most of those charges. He says a period of 47 days passed between the date the juvenile victims were removed from the home and the date authorities executed a search warrant and the arrests were made.
We have no way of knowing what could have been lost or destroyed or whatever during that time period, the 47 days. Because I believe that the defendants were arrested that same day, but there was, the physical evidence wasn't really what we would have expected, based on that. There were some other issues where it seemed appropriate to try to corroborate some of the accounts that were given. As Your Honor recalls, there was resistance to that on the part of various parties who were representing the children, and a lot of resistance. We felt that those were critical interviews that we wanted to do for reasons such as establishing the existence of locations that were referenced, and without that corroboration, it was going to be very difficult to prove some of the allegations. There were still others that could be proven, and so unfortunately what we ended up with was what we got.
In the end, Hicks pled guilty to 1 count of child abuse. Judge Robert Lane made it clear during sentencing that he's not happy that Hicks was able to plead to a much less serious charge, especially in light of a court-ordered risk assessment that indicated Hicks would be likely to re-offend.
The other defendant in this case got a couple of life sentences consecutive. That's what you should have got, based on the facts set forth in the offense synopsis. 2 or 3 life sentences would have been about the right sentence to give you, based on everything in there. And it angers me and makes my stomach hurt and makes me want to cry that you're getting 28 to 72 months and you're high risk to reoffend. So that's the best I can do according to the negotiation that was reached with the state. So I sentence you to 28 to 72 months, all the standard fines and fees, and the credit for time served. Anything else I need to put in the record?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Given the time that Hicks has spent behind bars, 524 days, he could be released on probation in as little as 6 to 10 months. But Judge Lane says he hopes the parole board will keep him locked up for the maximum of 6 years.
Thanks so much to Brad Francis for that report. Well, John Leonard DeBritz, who is charged with the murder of 47-year-old NHP trooper Ben Jenkins in March of last year in White Pine County, was in court recently. DeBritz has taken a plea of guilty by reason of insanity to the slaying, avoiding a death penalty trial in September. The officer was patrolling U.S. Highway 93 outside Ely when he came across what appeared to be a stranded vehicle. DeBritz shot the officer and then fled the scene heavily armed, wearing Officer Jenkins' uniform and driving his pickup truck. Following a pursuit and standoff with police, DeBritz surrendered. DeBritz was in a behavioral health hospital in Las Vegas for weeks before he was released 1 week before Jenkins was murdered. He was warning people about the spread of COVID-19 through what he thought was the water and sewer systems. Sergeant Ben Jenkins was a 12-year Nevada Highway Patrol veteran and a married father of 4 children, all from Elko. News 25 will return on the other side of this break.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
Well, there's a wonderful event over the weekend. Make-A-Wish Southern Nevada is making a dream come true for a little boy here in Pahrump. 6-year-old Jairus has been diagnosed with a terminal illness, but thanks to the efforts of Make-A-Wish and a lot of volunteers, his wish for a backyard park is now a reality.
This entire crew behind us has come together to put this wish together for him because he wished for a backyard park. And so it was just set up today. People came out today and finished it up, so we were able to finally reveal what's been going on, like being built in the yard. Jairus is involved with Carousel, which is a hospice palliative care company, and they were able to let us know that Make-A-Wish was a possibility for him. So they submitted paperwork and was able to get his stuff approved. Because of the terminal illness, he's a qualified child. Thanks to David Berukowitz from the Nye County Sheriff's Office, I have his email through PDOP, and so I was able to email him and ask him if he was able to help make the wish of Jairus' special by possibly bringing out a couple vehicles. I had no idea the outcome was going to be so big, but I just want to thank him and the Nye County Sheriff's Office, the SWAT team, and NHP that came out, and also the fire department.
He had his usual reaction when he's super surprised, where he covers his mouth because he can't really express as much as he could or should, but yeah. He was very excited. He is actually the brother to my son, and his mother couldn't take care of him, neither could his father, so we stepped in.
We are adopting him. He's like a blessing to us, full of life.
Jairus is Jairus. He's a kid, and he's one of the happiest kids you could ever meet.
He's doing fairly well. He has his ups and downs where he needs oxygen. He's got a lot of equipment in the house. Obviously today you see him on a very good day. Sometimes there's not so good days where he's needing to have oxygen and he has to stay in the house. He's got like allergies and low oxygen when like he walks around. And stuff like that. But overall, right now we're in a good state of his health.
Oh my gosh, I mean, this has been such a rewarding day. Jairus is just the cutest little kid, and he's such a fighter, and it was our pleasure to come out here and build him a park where, you know, so many kids have been home for the past year plus, and this now gives him a space where he can stay safe, be at his house, play with his siblings, and it's not as fun for us, but almost as fun for us to be here and watch him play with that. This gives him, you know, space in his home where he's safe. You know, we still have got pandemic stuff going on, so this allows him to, you know, be with just his family and his siblings on this space, get out that energy, because he's a energetic little kid, yeah. And you know, do that safely on his own, at his own home, and really have this area available to him all the time. He can come out here whenever he wants and play, and it just gives him something for him and his family to do together.
Do you like the swings?
Yep.
Okay.
You like to dig in the sand?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gonna do that some more in a little while?
Yep.
All right, you have a good day.
You say boy.
Thank you. Bye.
I don't have a date set yet, but come maybe October to September, we want to set up a benefit for Jairus to have the area fenced in for safety and shading provided for him so that when he's outside, he's not in extreme temperatures. It's not the sun's not beating down on him due to his epilepsy as well. It's not good for him.
And of course, we'll keep you posted on that fundraiser that's going to be happening. And if you're heading back to the office after working from home, you may want to think about introducing some healthier habits like mindful eating. A psychologist from Cleveland Clinic explains what that is and why it can help.
It is tempting to return to dieting, but research indicates that people who diet lose weight initially and then gain it back plus additional weight. Instead, consider mindful eating. Mindful eating is not a diet. There are no menus or recipes. It's more about focusing on how you eat.
Dr. Susan Albers says when it comes to mindful eating, consider the 3 S's. The first is sit down while you eat. Research shows we eat 5% more while standing up. The second is slowly chew, which can improve digestion and will allow you to enjoy your food more. Finally, smile between bites. Dr. Albers says smiling releases neurotransmitters that make you happier and can reduce mindless or emotional eating. It also gives you a moment to pause and ask yourself if you're actually still hungry. Another tip: Think about the kinds of snacks you're packing.
It's really important to bring snacks to work. You may find that the boxes of donuts and cookie jars and candy jars that people put their hands into are gone. This makes it even more critical that you bring healthy snacks to work that are going to keep you focused, energized, and boost your concentration.
Dr. Albers says some healthy snack options include Brazil nuts, pumpkin seeds, mandarin oranges, and berries. Anything that's high in vitamin D, magnesium, and selenium.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Hi, it's John Kohler staring out that Lerner and Rowe weather window. Behold, it's Highway 160. They've got most of that mud and junk cleared away from the flash floods yesterday. We'll tell you about the weather we can expect this week coming up.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios. It's Taco Tuesday, and you know what that means. We're going to look at the weather. Oh, how fun. Up north, check it out, 90, 92 degrees in Fernley and Fallon. Carson City all the way down to Goldfield. You're riding in the mid to high 80s. Beatty, you're up to 95. Amargosa in Las Vegas, 100, 101, 102 degrees, give or take. Death Valley's got triple-digit temperatures, but it's only one number. It is 111 degrees out there. And here in the dusky desert jewel that is Pahrump, well, let's take a look, 97 degrees. Great day to be drying out after all that monsoon stuff, wouldn't you guess? Boy, oh boy, 98 was as hot as it got today. And that seemed like enough. Well, humidity at 30% kind of felt a little swampy around the campfire, didn't it? 5:47 a.m. this morning, the sun rose, and then it'll set this evening at about 7:53 p.m. Looking forward to another couple minutes of night. How about that? Low tonight, 78 degrees, and the winds prevailing throughout the week at about 8 miles per hour, 10 miles per hour, east-southeasterly is how they're coming, mostly from the south. Humidity, it's drying out. Look at that, 29%. We're liking that trend. How does that bode for tomorrow? Well, cloudy skies, low winds, 7 miles per hour, temperatures in the triple digits as we're drying out. And then come Friday, Saturday, Sunday, here comes the rain again. And that'll be a lot of fun. Huh? Yeah, well, maybe get some sandbags. Might be a good idea, maybe a blue tarp, something. Make sure you've got, some prep going in case that flood water comes down your street like it did the other day. Oh, boy. We'll return to triple-digit temperatures Monday, Tuesday, so that'll be nice. Things to plan for, things to look forward to, and back to the desk we go. It's Deanna.
Thanks, John. I wonder, did everybody get those weird little bugs that showed up last night? I had some of those at my door. There's some in the studio right now. They're little bugs that showed up right after the rain. It's very odd. I got to talk a little bit about some of the back-to-school events that are happening. There's two of them happening this weekend here in Pahrump. And so the first one we have at New Focus Counseling Center. And that's a new one. They're going to be giving away some backpacks, and they have some refreshments. That's August, actually, that's going to be August 2nd. That isn't this weekend. That's August 2nd, which is Monday at noon. And so if you want to go down there, that's 1601 East Basin Avenue. Suite 303, right there on Basin, right by Dahlia Street. You can find out more at New Focus Counseling Center of Nevada Back to School event. Come on down, parents and students. And of course, the Nye County School District is having their annual one. This is a drive-through event as well at Pathways. So you want to go down there on July 31st from 8 until 10 a.m. at Pathways Innovation Center. That's right there on the corner of Calvada and Mount Charleston, right next to Pahrump Valley High School. You want to go down there and go to the drive-through event. They're going to have backpacks. They're going to have all sorts of things happening down there. Of course, then they say that if you would like to get an immunization, you can call the community health nurse, and that's 751-7070. And that's our back-to-school events happening here in Pahrump. Can't wait for the kids to go back to school. That's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell from all of us here at KPVM TV and Ace Country Radio. Have a great night.